the biggest topics in the group were 80 proof, 100 proof. People are hitting our group with already tinctured stuff, wondering if it's just a waste, whether they should throw it away, if it's made with a lower grade solvent. Everyone's been pretty cool about elevating their knowledge to using a higher proof, and it's been working out. So that
Yeah,
being said,
and the important thing
yeah,
to know is definition of a tincture is with high proof alcohol and live plants.
yes,
So
and live
if you're doing
plants.
plant, it has to be live, roots inclusive, in some of them, and the alcohol has to be 190 proof. And you can buy it online. We've talked about that before. There's lots of outlets you can buy at Walmart, Amazon, as well as lab suppliers. And the name of it is called food grade ethanol. So if you look for 190 proof booze at Amazon, it's not going to pull it up. You pull it, you put in, food grade ethanol, it'll pull it up.
Yeah.
And the very minimum I would suggest, the very minimum is 151. And Everclear is good for that. And you can pretty much get that anywhere. If you can't get it in your county or your state because of the proof, then order it online. Food grade ethanol.
Yeah, I'll show you. Watch, I'll pull
And
it
then
up. Just a quick Google.
yeah,
Ready? Bam. So
and
there's
have it
all
shipped
these
to your
different
house.
options. Food grade ethanol for tinctures. So
You can get it kosher. You can get it a vegan. There's a whole bunch of ways that you can get this food grade ethanol
200 proof
from a lab supplier.
Let's look at the proofs, okay? So we got a comment from somebody who said, what did they say? What proof do you have about 80 not working? Can't you let it sit long enough? All this prove it wrong stuff. But here's the proof I have pulled up. Look at all these lab companies making high grades. Look at all these lab companies making specifically ethanol for tinctures and human consumption. They want the best product, don't they? What are they making? 200, 190, it's
when I have someone
it just frustrates me.
What frustrates me is that they're defensive already.
Yeah.
They are defending a product.
Yeah, here it is, right here.
Yeah. Listen, I never recommend. It's not a tincture at 80, and I'm going to tell you, I'm going to break it down real easy as to why tinctures only use high proof alcohol.
All right, it's going to be a clip. Ready?
And yeah, here's a clip.
All right, I got your background up.
The reason why we use high proof alcohol with live plants is for food and is for shelf sustainability. Now, when you tincture a live plant will have lots of water in it naturally. That's why you don't dilute it. You don't purposely dilute, okay, when you work with live plants. You use a high-proof alcohol because a high-proof alcohol has the juju. It's got the power to pull the water solubles out of it, to pull all the other solubles out of it. And not only that, if I use 190 proof, let's say for Ghost Pipe, at the end of a cure, it is no longer 190 proof. It's probably about 130. And why is that? Because it diluted naturally, because you used a high proof alcohol. For shelf sustainability, to prevent mold and bacterial growth, it has to be around 130 proof. Or 120, 125, 130, right around there. That's why. The other reason why is because you're not getting the full benefit of that medicinal. That is unethical harvesting. Meaning you go out there and you harvest, you want to get, the medicinal.
Yeah.
Just to take it home and have a lower proof, number one, that isn't going to pull any of that water out of the plant. It's not going to pull all the medicinal out of the plant. Why? Because they plateau. They just can't do it. That's how come a tincture is a tincture, and an elixir, and an infusion, and a tea use lower proof. So if you want to use lower proof and it works for you, knock yourself out. If it's about self-use, you can do whatever you want. But know this, you will take more of that plant tincture. Not a tincture, an infusion. You're going to take more than you normally would. With Ghost Pipe specifically, Ghost Pipe has 40 times the amount of salicylic acid than one aspirin. You take more of that, you start doing shots and dropperfuls and all kinds of stuff like that. Where is that parking? It is parking in your liver. That is no bueno. That's not why you do this. You don't want to give yourself, any type of liver damage or anything else by using something long-term, using more of it. We want you to use it safely. And in the end, it's everyone's own decision on what they want to use if they're using it for self-use. But don't you dare be selling that stuff, because you could actually be causing harm rather than giving somebody a benefit. Not only that, at that proof, at 80 proof or at 100 proof, at the end of that cure, you're lucky if it's 40 proof. That is going to breed mold and bacterial growth. That's why. So keep that in mind when you use it. If you're gonna use 80 and 100 proof, go for it. But don't call it a tincture. Just because it's in liquid form and in a bottle doesn't equate. That's like saying a pancake is a muffin. It's not. They're two different things. Okay? So one is getting down the terminology first, which can be hard for a lot of people because
there's a lot of misinformation. They don't hear the same really repetitive thing. So like when they land in specifically our Ghost Pipe group, because that was even in the Penn State article, they said the biggest trouble is misinformation. That's the biggest issue with this plant. So like the fact that we're running a group called Informational group, right? We're sticking to what we know best and for the best option. So like we're not going to tell you like everything's fine. This is the best, this is what you got. This is how you make the best remedies. Tinctures, period. Specifically Ghost Pipe tinctures. So everyone has access to this. You don't gotta be, spreading fake news that 80 works the same. 100, like we've had this conversation a million times. This is going to be the nail in the coffin clip for me, because here it is for everybody to see. And there's different kinds you can get, cheaper kinds. You can go buy, anything you want at the liquor store, but the lab grade stuff is it's foolproof.
You're gonna get the optimal medicinal, right? Because remember, tinctures, again, by definition, they are going to have the most optimal medicinals. That form tincture is always the most medicinal. So don't call it a tincture if it's an infusion.